Surely 4 Hollywood actors can solve the opioid crisis, right? Well, we'll find out on Film Threat Reviews. I'm Alan Ng. I'm with Zorianna Kit, and today we review Crisis. 3 stories about the world of opioids collide. It's written and directed by Nicholas Jarecki, stars Gary Oldman, Armie Hammer, Evangeline Lilly, and Michelle Rodriguez. So there's a lot to unpack here, but we talk about 3 stories intertwined together. There's a story of Gary Oldman's character, who is a scientist who is research of a potential non-addictive drug. Then you have Armie Hammer, who's an undercover agent about to take down a giant drug kingpin. And then you have Evangeline Lilly, who's the mother of whose son was murdered by the drug cartel for smuggling drugs. So these stories kind of run parallel, and at one point, at least 2 of them intertwine together. Zorianna, what did you think of Crisis?
Okay, before I say that, you called him Gary Oldman, and it's Oldman.
Did I call him Oldman?
Yeah, I think
I written down as Oldman. So
yeah. Just letting you know. I mean, it's easy.
I know who he is, and I know how to pronounce
it. I know. Yeah.
He's a great actor. I love him. I said the name right.
Yeah, just in case we get comments from people that are going to criticize. You know how they love to do that.
Yeah, so save your comments. I know his name.
I thought that Crisis for me personally was very unfulfilling. I was actually quite excited to see it. I'm also a fan of Nicholas Jarecki's previous film, Arbitrage, which was some time ago, but that starred Richard Gere and it was centered in the financial world. And I really liked that one. So I thought, oh, cool, it's going to be that good. But now set in the drug world. But I don't know if it's a case of the filmmaker taking on too big of a task with 3 different storylines, and he was overwhelmed. But I just felt that there was a lot that it was very generic and didn't really illuminate anything, and you didn't walk away from the film feeling like you learned anything or that something's going to be done or how things work. It wasn't for me.
Yeah. I felt the same way. I felt like it's pretty much an action thriller, more thriller than anything, but it felt like the world of this thriller was too small for its story.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it needed to be bigger than it was. Gary Oldman's character is a scientist working for a college who is double checking the research of a pharmaceutical conglomeration, and a lot of the action occurs in boardrooms and meeting rooms where people are talking and arguing. There's that aspect of it, and you just kind of, I don't know, you kind of wanted to take place in a bigger location, and then the undercover work of Armie Hammer's character, it's in a warehouse. It's just this world just felt so small when you just really wanted to be bigger.
Yes, and what I did appreciate and respect was that the 3 different storylines aren't just 3 random storylines. They really kind of cover the different financial or class bracket. You've got the very rich who are involved in creating this drug with the university and needing to market it and get it out there so they can reap money. Then there's more of like the middle class with Evangeline Lilly, and then there's more of a lower class where you're dealing with kind of these underbelly and they're homeless people and that they're using to get them addicted to these drugs. So he covers all the bases, but like you said, it just wasn't enough. I mean, Armie Hammer spends most of the movie walking to and from something on his cell phone. He goes from his car to his hotel. He's in the hotel lobby, then he's in his room talking on the phone with the city's background. Or he is in the car, again, driving, then walking, going through an airport, and always on his cell phone. I feel like most of his scenes are just with his cell phone conveying information. So we're getting information, but none of this information is illuminating or fascinating or interesting. And it's everything we seem to already know, because this crisis has been very much in the news, and there was nothing new added.
Yeah, it's almost as if they set out to make a thriller and decided to cut out all the chase scenes and the car chases, and maybe have one or two scenes of a gunfight. And it's just like that kind of that gave me this unfulfilled, unsatisfied feeling. The on the bright side, I mean, come on, you got four great actors here, but Michelle Rodriguez we haven't even talked about. They're good actors. They do a really good job here. And
but they're thankless roles for the most part. Like you mentioned, Michelle Rodriguez. What does she get to do? Like nothing really. Like a few boardroom talks, really.
Yeah, but she's the captain at the station. So where is she? She's at the station.
Yes, but I feel like the script, the writing planted specific characters in the film, severely underwritten, just to present a hierarchy or to create a momentary conflict, because he has to report. Armie Hammer has to report to Michelle Rodriguez, so they're there just to kind of meander through to move the plot along. Another subplot is Armie Hammer is not just a tireless investigator who's out for the bad guys, but he has a soft side because he has a sister who's addicted to opioids. And there's maybe 2 or 3 scenes with her. She's played by Lily Rose Depp. And we're supposed to understand that there is some, he's got a personal fight in this game, not just because he's a cop. And then we look at Evangeline Lilly, who her background is she was once a pill addict. Now she goes to support groups and she's a successful architect. And so there's this moment where she uncovers the backpack full of pills, and she looks at them, and we're supposed to think, oh my gosh, don't go down that path, Evangeline Lilly. Like, don't take those pills. Don't revert back to your addiction. And of course, like, she changes her mind or something happens. I don't know if the phone rings or she puts it down. So, disaster thwarted. And so I feel like that's supposed to, show us that she's a conflicted mother with addictions of her own. But see,
there's a vigilante subplot in there as well.
Yeah. Well, exactly. How can she take on like a drug cartel single-handedly and the FBI can't? Like, where does an architect learn those skills?
It's like the Incredible Hulk. You do what you do to protect your young. And
yeah.
And that's essentially the plot line there.
So it was unfulfilling, because I felt like those things were put in front of me to make me feel a certain way instead of just letting me feel what I feel. And I think it's because the characters weren't fully fleshed out, so we couldn't feel it.
As I read some of the press releases and some of the press material regarding Crisis, I was starting to get the sense that this is more, it felt more like a documentary or a commentary about the opioid crisis today. I would call it a documentary written as a drama. And, because they're hitting the notes and they're hitting the issues that are involved in this really complicated problem of America's opioid addiction and crisis. You have, just the fact that opioids, fentanyl, OxyContin, they're such a powerful drug, more powerful than heroin, and it's killing people. So they're building stories to point out these things.
Yeah.
You have the science end, the corporate pharmaceuticals who are producing.
Yeah.
You have the drug dealers who are passing it in from China.
Yeah.
And then you have parents who feel helpless when their children die.
Yes, so it has all these stereotypical things it needs to be able to say, look, I've presented it a certain way. But the way it's presented feels more like one of those NBC Before You Know movies or Lifetime movie. Like there was I don't know if it was a production feel to it, but there was something that just felt like this is a cable TV movie. I don't know if it was just everything was gray and dreary because it's winter and it's snowy, and there was just this gray, dreary vibe over the entire film, and I just felt like the production values didn't meet that of a feature film with that type of cast. I mean, you have Gary Oldman, like he's a legend. So I think that just the quality just felt lowered for whatever reason. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's how I feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. Like I said, I think if there's a reason to see it is to see
it's the actors.
Yeah, see the actors. I mean, they're good. There's nothing really wrong with any of their performances. They give it 110%. It's just, as you mentioned, it's kind of an after school story.
Yeah, after school special. That's it.
And, I'll say it. There's a power. There's when you get great actors to do mediocre work, they elevate mediocre work, and it happens here. I enjoyed watching all four of them, and if someone really wanted to see it, I'd probably sit down and watch it with them again.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
no.
I know. So you're feeling a little tepid about this movie. I think we're hitting the same notes here. So I'm gonna say you gave it a 6.
I did. Good one. Yeah, good call. Considering the actors, I couldn't do a 5. If it probably had lesser actors, I might have given it a lesser rating. But they kept this afloat for me. I'm a Gary Oldman fan in general, so I'll probably see everything that he does, regardless. But a 6 is I felt like a good, comfortable setting for me on this one, because everything else I was not much a fan of. So, well, I actually think you liked it more than I did. Maybe not by that much, but certainly if you're willing to sit down and watch it again, then you've definitely liked it more than me. So I think you gave it a 7.
I gave it a 6.5.
Okay.
I pretty much feel the same way you do. I think the acting is the thing that elevates it that half point. I would, the thing about it is, if I were to see it again, I don't think I'd be bored at all. You definitely feel uninspired by it, but you're definitely not bored by it. And so
true. You're not bored by it. You're absolutely right, but you're not inspired. And I guess with such a hot topic and such a big issue topic in the United States, I expected to be inspired.
Yeah, and Hollywood has been doing a lot of opioid films lately, and I think those are a lot more dramatic, hard-hitting, says something a lot deeper than this one does. Even the thrillers that are surrounding this subject are elevated much more. And this definitely feels like an indie film compared to those others who have great actors in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go out and see Crisis, if you will. Let us know what you thought. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. And with that, let's get out of here.